Luna had too much to drink again and was brought home by a handsome man. I untied my apron just in time to see the man holding Luna by the waist and kissing her.
Luna, Grandpa Smith just called. He said he's coming over for dinner.
Luna looked at me with drunken eyes, about to speak when Jason Miller interrupted with a chuckle.
Luna, is this the useless husband you mentioned?
Luna hooked her arm around his neck.
Yes, now you understand what kind of life I've been living these past few years, right?
Jason's eyes crinkled with laughter as he looked at me.
Is cooking and cleaning all you're good for? As a man, you're quite a failure.
I didn't respond, my eyes growing moist. I had spent 7 years trying to warm Luna's heart, but she only grew more disdainful of me. At that moment, I realized how foolish I had been. Luna seemed to sober up a bit, her gaze growing colder.
What are you standing there for? Go prepare some pajamas for Jason.
She wanted to let him stay the night. In the past, she had brought men home to embarrass me, but they would always leave in the middle of the night. This time, she was going too far.
Luna, Grandpa Smith really is coming over. He'll be upset if he sees you like this.
Luna laughed.
Charlie, you're even bringing Grandpa Smith into this? Do you think I'll believe you?
She pressed Jason onto the sofa right in front of me. Jason was momentarily surprised.
Luna, are we really going to give him a live show?
Sure, let him see how useless he is.
I turned and walked away, the unbearable sounds behind me cutting into my heart like a knife. When Grandpa Smith walked in, he was greeted by this scandalous scene. His smile froze, and then he slapped Luna across the face.
Shameless! Luna, you've brought disgrace to the Smith family. How could you do this to Charlie?
Luna was stunned, standing there in shock. Grandpa Smith's hand trembled with anger.
Has she always treated you like this?
I forced a smile and shook my head.
This is the first time, Grandpa Smith. It's okay. I know Luna dislikes me. I'm used to it.
Blame me. I spoiled her too much, and now she doesn't know her limits. Charlie, I'm getting old. I really hope you and Luna can live a good life together.
Grandpa Smith, I understand.
After seeing Grandpa Smith off, Luna picked up an ashtray and smashed it against my forehead, causing blood to flow. I clutched the wound, nearly fainting.
Charlie, did you deliberately call Grandpa Smith to humiliate me? I didn't expect you to be so scheming. Have you gone mad from enjoying your life at home?
I pressed my lips together, unsure how to respond. Enjoying life. She was rarely home, taking pleasure in tormenting me. She had fired all the maids and housekeepers, leaving me to handle all the household chores alone. This large villa took me half a day just to mop the floors. Did she think this was enjoying life? Fortunately, I had gotten used to it. Her words were always sharp and unforgiving, like a shrew who wouldn't let go once she had the upper hand. After all this time, she only treated me this way. Seeing the other party becoming increasingly unreasonable, I quickly ran to the bathroom to tend to my wound. Looking at my gaunt face in the mirror, I suddenly felt a lump in my throat. My life shouldn't have been like this. If it weren't for my grandpa's muddled agreement to Grandpa Smith's proposal, I wouldn't have become the son-in-law everyone sneers at. As I left the bathroom, I ran into my mother-in-law, who looked at me with disdain.
Oh, did you fall after drinking?
I accidentally fell. Mom, why didn't you let me know you were coming? I could have bought some of your favorite dishes.
7 years, and you still haven't made any progress. Other families' daughters-in-law at least have the decency to bear children. What about you? What use are you besides hovering around the kitchen?
I didn't argue, just smiled bitterly, knowing how strained our relationship was. My mother-in-law was probably the person in the Smith family who disliked me the most, even more than Luna. They never expected Grandpa Smith to arrange for Luna to marry me, which was a slap in their faces. After the marriage, Luna wouldn't let me get involved in the family business, and my mother-in-law would come over frequently to make things difficult for me. Naturally, Luna sided with her mother. Whenever my mother-in-law complained, Luna would come to trouble me, no matter what false accusations were made. If it weren't for Grandpa Smith occasionally speaking up for me, I would have been kicked out long ago. I understood that Luna and her mother treated me this way mainly to make me initiate a divorce. Little did they know, I endured it day after day for 7 years without any intention of divorcing. Luna was sitting on the sofa smoking.
Mom, how's the company?
Her mother signaled with her eyes that it wasn't appropriate to discuss business matters with me present.
It's fine. If he could understand, I'd actually think more highly of him.
Your uncles are restless. They've recently approached your grandpa, trying to get to him.
Do they really think Grandpa is an easy target? A veteran who survived the battlefield won't be easily fooled by a few words.
Her mother took Luna upstairs, giving me a disdainful look as they passed. I silently cleaned up the broken glass on the floor and wiped up the spilled wine with a clean cloth. Luna had almost smashed everything in the house in her fit of rage, making the cleanup both tedious and time-consuming. By the time I finished, it was already 2 a.m. The next day, Luna slept until noon.
Harley had been busy in the kitchen for over an hour preparing a feast for her. She glanced at it briefly and then turned away.
Is this how you cook for Luna? My daughter has been pampered since childhood, and she's never had to eat such plain food.
Mom, I made it according to Luna's tastes.
Enough with the excuses. If you can't even satisfy her stomach, don't think you can win her heart.
With that, Mother left gracefully. Charlie looked at the table full of untouched dishes, feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness.
They say a man should have great ambitions to succeed in his career. I had always been a top student, and my teachers often said I had a bright future ahead. But fate has a way of striking you down when you're at your peak.
At that moment, his phone rang. He looked at the caller ID and took a deep breath.
Brother, when are you coming to see me? Jenny misses you.
I'll be there soon, Jenny. Be good.
Charlie quickly cleared the table and headed to the hospital on his electric scooter. Jenny had a serious illness. The doctors said she had missed the best window for surgery and could only rely on machines and medication to sustain her life. She had just undergone another round of treatment recently and had lost even more weight.
Brother, when will sister-in-law come to see me? Jenny really wants to meet her.
She had been in the hospital during Charlie's wedding and had never met Luna in person. Every time he visited, she would look at Luna's photos on his phone.
Your sister-in-law is busy with work, but she bought a little bunny for you to play with.
He took out a bunny plush toy, and Jenny's eyes lit up.
When Jenny gets better, she must thank sister-in-law properly.
Charlie met with the attending physician to ask about her treatment. The doctor, holding the report, looked worried.
Mr. Evans, your sister's condition can only be managed for now. Whether she can reach an optimal state for surgery again depends on her recovery.
Thank you, doctor.
It's not easy for you. Each round of treatment costs tens of thousands, and each pill is worth thousands, not to mention the advanced equipment. You must be under a lot of pressure, spending at least $1 million each month.
Hospitals are the biggest money pits. Most families in his situation would have given up by now.
I'm a live-in son-in-law, and all expenses are covered by my wife.
The doctor said nothing, just patted his shoulder gently.
Thinking back, I mostly felt gratitude towards Luna. If it were just me, my sister might not have survived. Luna often scolded and belittled me, trampling on my dignity, but she wasn't stingy. To appease Grandpa Smith, she would occasionally transfer large sums of money to me. Sometimes, when she was drunk, she would directly deposit money into my account. In the end, she just looked down on me.
Luna and Charlie had no real connection. His grandpa and Luna's grandpa were war buddies, and his grandpa had saved his life multiple times on the battlefield. Their marriage was arranged in a muddled way because of this. But there is a vast difference between wealthy families and ordinary ones. Not only did Luna oppose the marriage, but her parents also despised Grandpa Smith's decision.
I have no special talents, but I am easily content and have a strong sense of self-awareness. Given the disparity between our families and Luna's dislike for me, why should I insist on being a nuisance?
So he went to see Grandpa Smith and expressed his thoughts.
Charlie, no one is more suitable for Luna than you. Don't worry, this marriage is my decision alone. Just wait for the wedding.
Charlie didn't know what he said at home, but Luna came to confront him the next day.
Charlie, you toad, dreaming of marrying a swan. Look at your poor state. I'd rather leave this world than marry you.
After she left, Charlie sat in silence for a long time. In the end, she did marry, but it was him who joined her family. The reason was simple. His grandpa passed away unexpectedly, his father was imprisoned for some wrongdoing, and his only sister was gravely ill. On the first day he agreed to join the Smith family, he spoke with Grandpa Smith. He needed to borrow a large sum of money to save his sister. Grandpa Smith, with tears in his eyes, held his hand.
Good child, once you're part of the Smith family, you're one of us. Money is a small matter as long as my grandson's illness can be cured.
With Grandpa Smith's support, even if the Smith family had any dissatisfaction, Luna completely turned against me after Grandpa Smith caught her bringing a young celebrity home. What surprised me even more was that Luna seemed genuinely interested in Jason Miller, that celebrity.
Luna, aren't you worried he's just using you for resources?
Luna, playing with her phone, didn't even look up.
What's it to you? Even if he is, I just think he's ambitious. And you? What do you have? A pair of hands that can cook?
I was used to such sarcastic remarks.
Grandpa Smith won't be happy about this.
Hearing me mention Grandpa Smith, she jumped up from the sofa like an agitated cat and slapped me across the face.
Charlie, don't think just because Grandpa Smith favors you, you can meddle in my affairs. You're just a live-in son-in-law the Smith family bought. To put it bluntly, you're nothing but a commodity.
Half of my face went numb, but I quietly rubbed it.
Fine, I won't interfere, as long as Grandpa Smith doesn't see it.
Luna averted her gaze and then asked,
Charlie, aren't you pathetic?
I pressed my hand to the corner of my eye, maintaining my composure.
Yes, I am. After all, I'm just a live-in son-in-law.
Luna, looking displeased, headed upstairs.
Dress well for this weekend's family gathering. Don't embarrass me.
The Smith family's annual gathering was a big event, with all family members attending. In the 7 years since I married into the Smith family, I had always been the subject of ridicule at these gatherings. This year wouldn't be any different. The gathering was held at one of the Smith family's private estates. On the weekend, as usual, Luna didn't accompany me. The driver took me to the estate, where only Grandpa Smith warmly took my hand and led me to my seat.
Oh, I thought you weren't coming. So, Luna still didn't come with you this year?
Laughter filled the room. Grandpa Smith glared at John Smith, who then reluctantly shut his mouth. Not long after, Luna arrived, holding Jason Miller's hand. The room fell silent, shocked that Luna would bring an outsider to the family gathering. I, her legitimate husband, was still here, yet she dared to bring her lover openly.
Grandpa, you arranged my marriage. Surely, you won't mind if I keep a man on the side?
I felt the mocking gazes fixed on me, as if I were a joke. I didn't mind much and smiled as I shook hands with Jason Miller. Luna clearly didn't expect me to be so magnanimous and said nothing. Towards the end of the gathering, Grandpa Smith called me aside for a private talk. I wasn't particularly bothered by Luna's actions today. I was used to her infidelity and complaints about our marriage. It didn't matter. After all, I was planning to divorce her. After the gathering, Luna never came home again. When Mother came to pick up some of Luna's things, she casually remarked,
See, you've been married to Luna for 7 years, and you still don't know how to please a woman like a young celebrity does. It's only a matter of time before my daughter kicks you out.
Tell Luna to let me know when she's free so we can finalize the divorce.
That night, Luna returned home.
Are you asking for a divorce?
Judging by her expression, she didn't seem particularly happy about it.
Luna, I know you've always despised me. Do you think I begged your grandpa to force you into marrying me?
She suddenly let out a mocking laugh.
Isn't that the case? The Smith family is wealthy and powerful, and I'm the only child. Anyone who marries me would surely rise to prominence. I can't believe an ordinary man like you wouldn't have such thoughts.
Is that the main reason you hate me?
Yes, I hate that you're a grown man who only knows how to do laundry, cook, and handle household chores. You've never thought about going out and making a career for yourself.
But it was you who felt embarrassed by me and didn't want me to show my face in public.
Luna's expression stiffened, and then she slapped him across the face.
Yes, I was embarrassed. Even now, I haven't found a single redeeming quality or value in you.
With that, Luna went upstairs. A few minutes later, she came back down arrogantly and threw a few sheets of paper in Charlie's face. Charlie picked them up and saw they were divorce papers. It seemed she had been prepared all along, just waiting for him to bring it up. Since that was the case, there was nothing left for him to hold on to. Charlie signed the papers without hesitation and then went to pack his things. Seeing his resoluteness, Luna bit her lip and sat silently on the sofa. When Charlie finished packing and came downstairs, he was surprised to see Luna still sitting in the same spot.
Are you sure about the divorce?
Yes, let me know when you want to go to the Civil Affairs office to finalize it.
For once, she didn't lose her temper. Her demeanor was unusually subdued. As Charlie walked past her, he saw Mother approaching with a handbag.
Getting old? Can't live off us anymore?
Yes, getting old. The Smith family's support is as hard as a rock, too tough for me to chew. I, Charlie Evans, don't have the fortune to enjoy it.
Oh, getting bold now, Charlie? What's gotten into you? The Smith family hasn't treated you badly.
Charlie didn't respond and walked past her.
Ungrateful wretch. You'll starve within 6 months without the Smith family.
How foolish. Did they really think he, a grown man, couldn't survive without them? Humming a tune, Charlie loaded his suitcase onto his small electric scooter. After years of being a live-in son-in-law, he had so few belongings that he could carry them all in one trip. The winter wind made his hands numb, but he felt incredibly refreshed. This was the scent of freedom. He looked ahead, smiling with unrestrained joy. The next day, Grandpa Smith called to ask about the divorce.
Charlie, Grandpa misses your cooking.
After 7 years, this marriage had long lost its meaning.
He was silent for a while before sighing.
Charlie, Grandpa misses your cooking.
Charlie made some polite responses and then hung up. A few days later, Luna called to inform him to finalize the divorce procedures. The moment Charlie got the certificate, he felt an unprecedented sense of liberation.
I've been thinking a lot these past few days, but I still can't understand why you suddenly asked for a divorce. For 7 years, no matter how I treated you, you always endured. Why this time?
Because you can't be warmed, and you won't change.
She was stunned. Charlie thought for a moment and decided to speak up.
Luna, I used to really like you. So when Grandpa Smith suggested we get married, I didn't firmly refuse. But now, I don't like you anymore, really.
Charlie rode his small electric scooter back to an empty house and saw the photos of his parents and Grandpa Smith on the table. He wiped the frames and murmured softly,
7 years.
I went to the hospital to visit Jenny. Her condition was worsening, and even drinking water made her nauseous.
Brother, am I going to leave this world?
I held back my tears and hugged her tightly.
No, as long as I'm here, you'll be fine.
Luna divorced me and immediately stopped covering her hospital expenses. She thought this would force me to beg her for help. Little did she know, my 7 years with the Smith family were not in vain. I arranged for Jenny to continue her treatment in Germany, where they have the most advanced equipment. Even the most reputable German doctor, after examining Jenny, could only shake his head.
Mr. Evans, your sister's condition is progressing rapidly. Her organs are failing. Our only option now is conservative treatment to extend her life as much as possible.
Things had indeed reached the worst-case scenario. I contacted acquaintances to take care of Jenny and returned to my home country 5 days later. There was still a mountain of unresolved matters waiting for me, and I couldn't afford to delay any longer. To my surprise, Luna had called me multiple times. It was rare for her to reach out to me. I called her back, and she answered immediately.
Who's this? What do you want?
It was very quiet on the other end.
Did you delete my contact information?
Oh, nothing much. I just realized I haven't tasted your cooking in a while and suddenly miss those flavors.
I found it amusing. Back then, I meticulously prepared various dishes for her, only to be dismissed as idle. Now that I was gone, she claimed to miss my cooking. How ironic.
Miss Smith, with your wealth, you shouldn't lack chefs. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up. I'm quite busy these days.
After hanging up, my phone rang again. Seeing the caller ID, my mood lifted.
Mr. Evans, when will you be back at the company?
So, by the way, how's the Smith family doing?
There's a lot of turmoil. Besides the internal conflicts, other companies in the entertainment industry are also trying to get a piece of the pie.
I see. Keep an eye on things and call me if anything comes up.
Let the chaos unfold. The bigger, the better. Old Mr. Smith called me several times, hoping to meet. After some thought, I went to the supermarket, bought a lot of groceries, and biked to his place. Seeing me, old Mr. Smith regretfully said,
Luna was spoiled by us. You're a gem, but she was too blind to see it.
Grandpa Smith, it's all in the past. In my 7 years with the Smith family, you treated me like your own grandson. I should be grateful.
It's my fault. I shouldn't have arranged your engagement without your consent. I thought over time, Luna would see your worth and fall for you, but she didn't appreciate it.
He spoke at length, and I listened attentively. When he was done, I continued.
Grandpa Smith, the Smith family has been kind to me. So, I don't hold any grudge about my father taking Uncle Smith's place. He did it willingly, and as his son, I have nothing to say.
Old Mr. Smith's expression changed.
What else do you know?
My grandpa's passing wasn't an accident, was it?
Even a battle-hardened man like him trembled at the lips. The day my grandpa passed away, I had just received news of passing an interview at a certain school. I immediately called him. He was even happier than I was, cheerfully taking my sister for a walk, saying he would buy some groceries to celebrate. But on their way back, they encountered some thugs who tried to rob them, causing his heart condition to flare up, leading to his sudden passing. My sister fell ill from the shock, and during a hospital checkup, we discovered she had a serious illness. The series of blows nearly suffocated me. When Jenny woke up, she told me,
Those people had knives. They said they wanted to teach us a lesson, to remind us not to dream of rising above our station.
Jenny recounted the harrowing day when the robbers hurled vile insults, inciting Grandpa Smith's anger. The stress overwhelmed him, and with his frail heart, he couldn't recover.
Officer, I swear, I told you everything that happened, exactly as it happened.
The police concluded it was a mere robbery, with no evidence of a targeted attack. But Charlie remained skeptical, suspecting Luna's family.
Our family hasn't wronged anyone. Luna's family is the only one with a possible grudge.
After Grandpa Smith's funeral, old Mr. Smith offered financial help.
Charlie, here's some money to help with your expenses.
Thank you, but I must decline.
However, the mounting medical bills forced Charlie to reconsider.
Charlie, you could marry into the Smith family. That way, Grandpa Smith could openly help you. The family is plagued by squabbles over inheritance, and Grandpa Smith needs your support.
Even if I marry in, how can I get involved in your family matters?
Grandpa Smith believes in your business acumen. He hopes you can help his granddaughter secure her share of the family assets.
And so, Charlie married into the Smith family. Luna had a penchant for drinking, often rambling when drunk.
Luna, here's some hangover soup.
You're just a pheasant trying to become a phoenix.
Her words reminded Charlie of the robber's taunts.
Did you arrange for people to trouble my grandpa and sister?
Yes, my family wanted you to know your place. Who knew your grandpa would retaliate and bring trouble upon himself?
Charlie's anger boiled, but he remembered Grandpa Smith's kindness.
Old Mr. Smith, you must have known what was happening in your family.
Charlie, it was Luna's mother. She wanted to pressure your grandpa to call off the marriage. She didn't know about his heart condition.
So that's why Grandpa Smith felt guilty and helped us.
Yes, and after you married in, I gave you one of our subsidiary companies.
I didn't expect to expand it so quickly and attract top talent from LuTV Group.
After dinner, old Mr. Smith held Charlie's hand.
Charlie, if you remember Grandpa Smith's kindness, please don't kick us when we're down.
Okay.
6 months later, old Mr. Smith fell ill, and the Smith family plunged into chaos.
The Smith family is in disarray, sir.
The Smith family is about to change.
LuTV Group, with its vast resources, attracted envy and internal strife. Luna's relatives fought over the inheritance. Charlie watched Luna and her parents struggle amidst the chaos.
Her mother once said I wouldn't last 6 months without the Smith family. Yet, in just 6 months, they're on the brink of collapse.
Serious Ethan Parker placed the documents on my desk. Serious, Mr. Evans, if the Smith family continues to stir up trouble, it could lead to bigger issues. Many entertainment industry moguls are eyeing that piece of the pie. Serious, so we need to keep a close watch too. Serious, the reason I married into the Smith family was because old Mr. Smith hoped I could help Luna establish herself within the family. How could a woman possibly contend with those cunning old foxes? I'm different. I was a fox from the start, just one who chose to avoid scheming and be content with the status quo. That's why old Mr. Smith valued me. Relieved on the surface, I was the son-in-law the Smith family paid to bring in, but in reality, I used this position to uncover many interesting things behind the scenes. For instance, the Smith family's restless relatives had committed countless illegal acts in their fight for inheritance. And Luna's father, Every single thing he did could land him in prison for life. Serious Luna was a spoiled second-generation rich kid. She wasn't involved in much business and knew even less about the family's affairs than I did. Old Mr. Smith, as the main head of the family, gave me significant authority. Out of gratitude, I secretly helped him handle many troubles. Cheerful, you only know how to cook and wash dishes all day. Relieved, little did she know that in these 7 years, I not only expanded my own company but also used my understanding of Le TV Group to build a substantial network for my company. In just a month, Le TV Group's stock plummeted. People in the industry speculated how long the Smith family, with such severe internal strife, could hold out. Serious eyes stood by the glass window, looking out at the towering buildings. Ethan Parker knocked and entered, holding an invitation. Serious, Mr. Evans, there's a banquet organized by 100 Entertainment tomorrow night. Are you going? Serious, yes, 100 Entertainment is a giant in the film industry with plenty of resources. The Smith family has always wanted to collaborate with them. We might even get to see some drama. Serious, by the way, Ms. Evans' condition is worsening. When will you go see her? Sad. After Jenny received a critical condition notice from the doctor, I had her brought back to the country for personal care. Perhaps sensing her life slipping away, she became increasingly distracted, which worsened her condition. Sad. When I visited her at the hospital, she was unusually happy. Cheerful, brother, have you been very busy lately? Sad. Yes, it's my fault. I haven't been able to visit you often because of work. Cheerful, Jenny doesn't blame you. Brother, you need to smile more and be happier. That way, Jenny can leave in peace. Sad. My heart clenched, a wave of pain spreading through my body. Sad. Don't say that. Hopeful, Jenny isn't just saying it. Brother, it's okay. You once said that life inevitably leads to its end, and it's not such a scary thing. Grandpa Smith is surely waiting for Jenny, so Jenny isn't sad. Sad. Despite my efforts, tears fell. This cry seemed to release all the resentment and helplessness I had inside. Jenny wiped my tears. Hopeful, brother, I don't want to stay in the hospital anymore. Can you take me home? Hopeful, okay. Cheerful. Back home, Jenny visibly became more lively. She stood in her room, wearing the blue princess dress she had always longed for. Excited, brother, can you take me to that banquet you mentioned? I've never been to such a grand place. Serious. I thought Luna would definitely be there and instinctively wanted to refuse. But seeing Jenny's pitiful eyes, I softened. Serious. At 9 in the evening, as our car stopped at the entrance of Century 100, I saw Luna through the car window. She wore an exquisitely crafted, expensive white dress, looking like a fairy descended to earth. Jason Miller stood beside her, smiling slightly. They looked like a perfect match. Cheerful, brother, she looks even more beautiful than on TV. Surprised, Jenny, how did you? Hopeful, brother, Jenny isn't a child anymore. I can guess the relation.
I stepped out of the car, my sharp and professional appearance leaving Luna momentarily stunned.
Long time no see, Ms. Smith. How have you been lately?
She snapped back to reality, frowning.
Charlie, this isn't a place you should be. It's over between us. There's no need for you to stop me here.
Jenny clung to my arm, leaning affectionately on my shoulder.
Brother, this lady is so fierce.
Luna's face darkened instantly.
Charlie, I thought you were more restrained. Turns out you found a woman to flaunt in front of me. I've seen it, so what?
Ethan Parker stepped forward, presenting an invitation.
Miss Smith, we're here to attend the banquet tonight.
I made a gesture of invitation, and only then did Luna, with a livid face, walk inside.
Jenny doesn't like her. Brother, it's good that you separated from her.
Henry Young, the head of the Bai family, approached me from a distance.
Oh, Mr. Evans, I thought you wouldn't deign to attend our humble banquet. I didn't expect you to honor us with your presence.
Mr. Young, you're too kind. The Bai family's banquet gathers elites. Who here isn't a business giant? Tonight, I'm here to broaden my horizons.
Mr. Evans, you flatter us. You've developed Dragon City Entertainment to its current scale in just a few years, proving your extraordinary capabilities. We hope to collaborate more with you in the future.
I took a glass of wine from a waiter's tray.
Dragon City is just a small company. We need the Bai family's support.
Jenny, tired from wandering around, walked inside in her high heels. I followed her and saw her sitting by a window, chatting happily with a man.
That's the young master of Fenghua. He returned from the U.S. 3 months ago and immediately took over the company business. It's said he'll be Fenghua's future heir.
Fenghua mainly focuses on real estate, so they shouldn't be deeply involved in the entertainment industry. But tonight's gathering is full of top stars and major entertainment company figures. Why would someone in real estate attend this event? Could it be that Fenghua's young master plans to expand into the film industry?
I didn't expect to see you here, young Master Foam. Would you honor me with a drink?
Sorry, I'm currently talking with this lady. How about we drink next time?
Jenny rested her chin on her hand, looking at me.
Brother, did you hear that? He's ignoring you.
In that case, we might as well go home.
Young Master Feng looked at us in surprise, then seemed to understand something.
Sorry, are you the brother this lady keeps mentioning? Why don't you sit down and chat with us?
I talked with young Master Feng about many things, mainly concerning the internal strife within the Smith family. The turmoil in the Smith family has already affected other industries. Once the Smith family is weakened, companies in the same and other industries will seize the opportunity to acquire LuTV Group's stocks and resources. If they strike hard enough, it could lead to LuTV Group's bankruptcy and liquidation. After our conversation, young Master Feng and I exchanged business cards and he left. Suddenly, a mocking voice came from behind me.
Isn't this the Smith family's son-in-law? Dressed so formally tonight, are you regretting the divorce with Luna and trying to win her back?
I turned around to see John Smith, Luna's uncle. He was holding a beautiful woman, introducing me to everyone as the son-in-law kicked out by the Smith family. I waited for him to finish before smiling slightly.
I heard the Smith family is in quite a mess lately. If I were you, I'd focus on figuring out how to get more out of it, rather than wasting time on meaningless things.
TSK, it's only been half a year, and you've grown some guts to talk to me like that.
With that, he raised his hand, intending to. This familiar action was something he had done many times before. But this time, I didn't let him have his way. I quickly grabbed his incoming hand and smiled.
Uncle, do you really think this place belongs to the Smith family?
The crowd around us grew larger, puzzled as to why I was confronting someone from the Smith family.
Are you done?
Everyone, don't be fooled by this person's appearance. He was nothing but a pet raised by the Smith family, a husband my niece paid for.
Of course not. I didn't expect that after Luna asked you to leave, you'd still have the nerve to come here pretending to be someone important. Are you hoping to confront her here? Dream on.
I calmly met his gaze, not getting angry. Over the years, they had grown accustomed to my humility and subservience. They had never seen the aura I exuded when I stood tall.
Mr. Smith, is there some misunderstanding between you and Mr. Evans?
Mr. Evans? Him? Mr. Young, are you joking? He's just a discarded son-in-law of the Smith family.
Mr. Evans is the owner of Longqing Entertainment. How could he be someone else's live-in son-in-law? If you slander Mr. Evans like this, our Baija banquet won't welcome you.
I'll leave the follow-up to you, Mr. Young. My sister isn't feeling well, so I'll take her home first.
Just as I reached the door, I saw Luna standing by the car.
Miss Smith, your uncle is embarrassing the Smith family inside. Aren't you going to check on him?
I didn't expect you to be the owner of Gu Cheng. I misjudged you.
I don't look like someone who does business. It's normal to misjudge.
Can I treat you to a meal?
Sorry, I have a meeting at 10:30. I don't have time for dinner with Ms. Smith.
Back home, I took a shower and found numerous missed calls on my phone. Most were from the Smith family. The events of tonight's banquet had quickly reached them. The next day, just after my noon meeting, Ethan Parker informed me that Luna's mother was waiting downstairs.
No appointment, no meeting.
I understand.
An hour later, I received a text message.
Sorry for the trouble my mother caused you.
I didn't reply.
Secretary Zhang, how's the evidence collection on John Smith's illegal activities coming along?
All collected, boss. Do you need it now?
Yes, it's better for him to spend some time in prison.
Weren't you planning to use him to balance the other members of the Smith family?
With his brain, he'll eventually be used as a scapegoat by the Smith family. It's better to get him out of the picture early.
John Smith's arrest indirectly implicated many people. This led to intensified internal strife within the Smith family. Luna, with the shares given to her by old Mr. Smith, unexpectedly gained the upper hand in the infighting. Now, she just needed an ally to help her win this war. So she came to me. In a dimly lit private club, Luna recounted her struggles at home, her voice trembling with frustration.
Did you come to me just to say all this?
Charlie, I need your help.
Why should I help you?
Luna stood up, walked over to Charlie, and began to undress. Charlie watched her actions with a calm demeanor.
Charlie, I know what you want. If you help me, I can fulfill your wish.
My wish? Ms. Smith, do you think I'm interested in you?
Isn't that the case?
Charlie thought of mocking her, just as she had treated him before, but decided it wasn't necessary.
Ms. Smith, I've told you before, I don't like you anymore. I hope you don't have any illusions or expectations about me.
Luna angrily put her clothes back on.
Charlie, Grandpa Smith brought you into the family to help me. Now you're just standing by. Is this how you repay Grandpa Smith?
So you do know I'm here to help you. But haven't you always looked down on me and insulted me for being incompetent? Luna, I've been in the Smith family for 7 years, cleaning up countless messes for you in secret. Do you think it's just luck that you haven't been caught for your gambling and other activities? Do you think your shares haven't been taken by your uncles because of your own abilities? It's time to wake up.
Luna's face grew increasingly pale as Charlie continued.
You should be grateful that Grandpa Smith had a favor owed to my family. Otherwise, you would have been sold off by your uncles long ago.
As Charlie turned to leave, Luna suddenly hugged him.
Charlie, I'm sorry. It was all my fault before. I really need your help now. I'll do anything for you.
Are you sure?
She nodded vigorously.
All right, I do have something that needs doing. If you do it well, I can ensure your uncles never get their hands on the TV group.
3 days later, Luna's mother was arrested and imprisoned for a suspected intentional harm case. Luna, exhausted, came to Charlie, her face devoid of any color. Charlie had someone pour her tea, and they discussed the next steps. With Charlie's push, Luna's uncles were frequently exposed for tax evasion, coercing artists into inappropriate exchanges and other scandals. Rumors spread like wildfire, severely impacting LuTV Group's standing and reputation in the film industry. All involved were invited to the police station for questioning. Luna emerged as the final winner. She invited Charlie to dinner, but he straightforwardly refused. One night, Charlie's phone rang. He smiled and answered the call.
Boss, the time has come. Good. Thank you for your hard work.
That night, news of Luna's involvement in a substance abuse gathering hit the headlines. The media swarmed like mosquitoes to blood, reporting Luna's scandalous deeds for a long time. On the day Charlie agreed to help Luna, he contacted the young master of the Feng family and Mr. Yang from Baija Entertainment. The three of them collaborated perfectly for the first time. With Luna's arrest, Lu TV Group was thrown into chaos. Together, they devoured Lu TV's assets. Jason Miller brought a large group of Lu TV's top artists to report to Charlie's company.
Boss, the mission is successfully completed.
Well done. It seems you're quite suited for undercover work.
Thank you for the compliment, boss. I'll continue to work hard.
Charlie went to the hospital to visit old Mr. Smith. Old Mr. Smith now needed help even to get out of bed. When he saw Charlie, a trace of pain appeared in his eyes.
Charlie, if I had been ruthless and dealt with Luna's mother when your grandpa had his accident, would you have been able to let go of your hatred?
The Smith family were not good people. They had lived in high positions for too long, accustomed to doing whatever they pleased without considering the consequences, which led to their downfall.
Grandpa Smith, many people in the Smith family are connected to my grandpa's death, especially Luna. Besides that robbery incident that led to my grandpa's accident, there were other actions that harmed my family. You chose to ignore it to protect your family, which is understandable.
As for Charlie's father, he was a soft-hearted man, easily swayed into taking the fall. Although he was set up by the Smith family, he couldn't resist jumping into the fire pit himself. In the end, he wasn't someone worthy of sympathy either. Old Mr. Smith looked much more haggard. He gripped Charlie's hand tightly.
Charlie, I don't expect you to treat Luna well in the future. I just hope that for the sake of your 7-year marriage, you can leave her a way out.
All right.
6 months later, Jenny passed away due to a severe illness. Before she left, she smiled and told Charlie she saw Grandpa Smith. Charlie was down for a while because of this, and then he received a call from the hospital saying old Mr. Smith was critically ill and might not last long. Charlie rushed to the hospital and stayed with him for over an hour. In the end, old Mr. Smith closed his eyes forever on the hospital bed. Charlie personally handled his funeral and carried his coffin. The company grew bigger and business got better. Charlie became the youngest and most generous investor in the entertainment industry, standing in a position many could only dream of. Wherever he went, there were endless praises and envious applause. No one could imagine that Charlie, once an outcast son